And hello, everyone. Welcome to another power scanning session, looking out for the most promising setups for the week ahead. It is January 18th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, or 6 p.m. Central European Time, because this is where I am right now. I'm in Stuttgart, in Germany. I just came back from a trip to Dubai. I was attending the IFX trade show in Dubai, a great trade show, a really big one. Lots of prominent brokers were there, trading solution providers, marketing agencies, and it was really fascinating to see, yeah, what everybody else is up to. And believe it or not, I got quite a bit of inspiration of what we can do here at Trading Indicators for the next couple of weeks. In any case, so I'm greeting you guys from Germany, but let me ask you guys the question: where are you calling in from? Who do we have today in the room? Please share your location in the Q&A box of your Zoom window. So who do we have today? Of course, Aubrey from Cyprus, always sunny. Hey, Aubrey, how are you? Ralph from Winnipeg. Hey, Ralph, what's going on? Nice to see you. Who else do we have? We have Ben from Seattle, Washington. Awesome. Nice to see you. Edda from Hamburg. Hey, Edda. I'm very close to you right now. I'm Stuttgart, not too far away. Shiraz from London, cold London. Yes. I tell you what, Stuttgart was quite cold as well today. I've been out the entire day. I went to see a soccer game. It was quite chilly today. Gerald from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I bet you it's quite a bit warmer down there. Nice to see you, Gerald. Keith from the Scottish borders. Oh boy, I imagine that's also quite chilly right now over there in Scotland. Okay, and we have Ralph, minus 30 in Winnipeg. Wow. Yeah, keep warm, Ralph. All right, guys. So thank you so much for sharing your location. And if you guys are joining our sessions here for the very first time, let me just briefly introduce ourselves. So we are tradingindicators.com. My name is Daniel Sinning. I'm the guy here on the left-hand side. And about 10 years ago, we have created, Homer and I, my business partner here in the middle, my partner in crime, so to say. I know Homer for more than 20 years, back in grad school. So we have created trading indicators together. And over the years, we've built almost 1,000 indicators, trading tools, trading scanners, trading solutions for clients all over the world. And about halfway through, I'd say around 5 years ago, Nicholas has joined our team. And ever since, he's been a very important part of trading indicators. And it's really cool to have Nicholas also here with us today. He's going to be looking out for your questions. All right, so we specialize in what we call technical indicators, which is basically an indicator which analyzes price action directly on your price chart. We believe that fundamentals are almost immediately priced in, and by analyzing your price chart, you will indirectly also take into account fundamental information. We also believe that trading should be simple, and trading is simple, but you need to use the right tool. And one such tool we're going to show you today, because as you will see, using our Liquidity View dashboard, it makes it very easy to find promising trade setups. And last but not least, this session is for you guys. So if you have any questions, please don't be shy. Put your questions into the Q&A box of your Zoom window, any similar requests that you may have, and we'll be happy to go through these as this webinar progresses. And I also need to remind you that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and trade setups shared in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right, so with this out of the way, let's get into it. And let me allow you to, remind you that we recently, about, I don't know how many days, maybe 8 days ago, we have released Volume IQ for NinjaTrader. And to celebrate the arrival of our beautiful Volume IQ indicator for NT8, we are offering a 25% discount for this indicator for a limited time. And if you want to take advantage of this special, simply go to tradingindicators.com/volume-special. And Nicholas Ahoma, please also put this link into the chat box. So tradingindicators.com/volume-special. All right, so that's that. But what are we going to do today? So we are going to interactively scan for promising setups. And as you will see, most of these setups, they will have a high reward, so a very promising profit target and a relatively low stop loss. And this makes them high reward and low risk setups. And how we can find them, we're going to discover together today using our beautiful Liquidity View dashboard. And if you guys want to follow along, there is a way to do it, even if you don't have access yet, because we are offering a 1-week free trial for our dashboard. So if you want to just check it out, simply go to tradingindicators.com/view. This link will also be in the chat box. Click on it, and it will bring you to a page where you can sign up for a week of to trying out this beautiful dashboard. And if you try, or if you decide to stick along and to keep using it, we have interesting monthly and yearly options. All right, so that's this. And the beautiful thing about this is, even if you are not a member yet and you want to sign up for the trial, you will get access instantaneously. This will only take about a minute or maybe 2 minutes to get access, and you can follow along. All right. Also, we have, if you don't know it yet, we have written an ebook about the key strategies that we're going to go through today in the scanning session. The bounce strategy, the zone break strategy, and the zone break retrace strategy. And if you want to know all about these strategies, why we think they are very promising, why we think they work, and want to know all the details about them, simply go to tradingindicators.com/power-of-3. This link will also be in the Q&A box to download this ebook. All right. Okay, and one last thing, and I promise you we're gonna get to the dashboard in just a second. Please, if you have any feedback on how to further improve the dashboard, whatever it may be, it can be completely out there or perhaps just a simple improvements. Please don't be shy. Your feedback drives our development. And if you have any ideas and suggestions, please put them into the Q&A box as well. Or perhaps write me just a simple email about your idea. And if possible, we're going to see if we can add this feature as a new feature into the dashboard. So if we've done this in the past, all these here listed are features suggested by users, and we want to keep on doing this moving forward. All right, so with this, let's get into it. And we're going to start with a market review because it has been, to say the least, quite interesting what has happened last week. And I'm super excited as well that most of the ideas that we had last week, they worked out beautifully. So we're going to review these ones as well. All right, so let's get into the dashboard. So let me just switch over to our dashboard. Just 1 second. There we go. All right, so I'm going to open it up. I'm going to log into the dashboard. Here we go. Okay. And if my voice is a bit weak, it just came from a soccer game. So it's a bit thinning, but everything is fine. So let me just quickly log in. There we go. Oops, something went wrong. Oh boy. 1 second, guys. Don't. Nope. Hang on. Ever since I had this Windows update, it's not Face ID. No. Okay, I'm just gonna log in with the credentials. Oh boy, that I remember. Just do this. All right, perfect. So let's log in into the dashboard. I hope these were the right credentials. There we go, perfect. All right, so loading the Liquidity View dashboard, we're gonna start with a market review. Let me just quickly go to the status quo, and we're gonna start with the SPY, so the S&P 500 ETF, the Sparta ETF. All right, so what has happened since last week? And let me make this a little bit bigger here. So we were in a very beautiful uptrend in the SPY, but as of lately, we have seen a bit of a correction. So we came off these all-time highs and we retraced a few times towards the lower end of this trend channel. And even Trend Radar, was printing here a level for pullback. And basically, what we discussed last week, and this really coincides with last week, this what I think was on January 11th, we had our webinar. I said, hey, this could be an interesting long entry opportunity into this, overarching uptrend. Because what you don't want to do, you don't want to enter when it's overextended, like up here or up here or up here, because chances are, prices will retrace sooner or later. They will revert back to the mean. But last week, we did have the reversion. Prices came down. They did not break the lower trend channel, and they stayed above our support area down here. And of course, here several things came together. We had the pullback, but we're near support and the lower end of this trend channel. This was a great opportunity to enter long. And look what happened since price beautifully rebounded to the upside and, gained probably 10 points, maybe even more to the upside. Now approaching this resistance level here. And moving on to the week ahead, well, we have to see what's going to happen. If we get into this level, I probably expect price to retrace a bit. We'll see how deep it's going to be. But ultimately, if we can keep this momentum, we may see all-time highs and a move towards the upper end of this trend channel, perhaps towards 630, 640, or even higher. So that's what's going on in the SPY. So everything is in check here. The uptrend seems to continue. And of course, this was in the aftermath of the CPI numbers, which were better than expected on Wednesday morning. So price jumped up. This was this gap up here, and then price just continued to go up further. All right, so that was the SPY, but let's move on. Let's go to another very interesting setup, the QQQs. All right, so in the QQQs, and I'm just gonna show you guys what we noted down on last weekend, on the last weekend. So I'm going to go to my trade notes here, and this is going to open up the screenshot that we took last Saturday. So this takes a little while. And as you can see here, price broke above resistance, initially went up, but then retraced back to the broken resistance level. And what is this? Well, that's our classic zone break retrace setup. And we said, hey, this could be a great opportunity to also enter long into the QQQs because now this resistance level will act as support. So resistance can become support. And this is exactly what we're expecting. And look what happened. So if we go back to this candle here to our on the current chart, this is this candle here. And then price rebounded beautifully to the upside. And of course, ever since the levels reprinted here, the new support and resistance levels have formed. And now we can see the new levels here. And price is approaching very closely, similar to the SPY, the resistance level here around 610 in this area. We may see a bit of a bounce off, but over time, I also believe that this will continue and print all-time highs. We're just coming off this level 4 pullback in Trend Radar here as well. All right, this is for the Qs. Let's move on. What about the Russell IWM? All right, so the Russell here. So the Russell was a bit different. So the Russell was never ever near its or broke above resistance. In fact, it came off resistance here, which was very close to the all-time high, which printed years ago. So it approached it again. I don't think it made it to the all-time high, but perhaps it did by a few cents, but it definitely didn't surpass it by much. And then it rebounded off this resistance level. And I just love how precise these levels are. Look, this level printed from, if I go down here, this was before, I don't know how far I have to go back to this level here. Since 2021, we knew about this resistance level up here. And in 2024, we came back up to this exact same level and price rebounded all the way down here to the support level. And guess what happened then? Another beautiful bounce off this support level now towards the upside. And right now, we are trading really close to this resistance level here. The scenario is a bit different because it's not the top resistance level, but we still may see a bounce off this resistance level on Tuesday. Remember, the markets are closed on Monday because of Martin Luther King Day. The US markets are closed pretty much across the board. So the stock market will open up on Tuesday only. And we may see a bounce off this resistance level. But over time, and many analysts say that 2025 will be the year of the Russell 2000. So we may see all-time highs, longer out into 2025. All right, and two more things: gold, GLD. So in gold, I have my own theory. So I believe, and we drew this last week. So these lines here from last week, price, I believe, will or has entered into a sideways consolidation phase. So we had this really big uptrend here. We made all-time highs. It was a really steep uptrend. Look at this. Price really went up fast. Of course, after a big up move, there is going to be a phase of consolidation. I think this is what we're seeing right now. So we had the move down here, then move up towards resistance, down again towards support, and now back up towards resistance. And oftentimes these sideways areas or these sideways trends, they tend to last for quite some time. And if this holds true, we will see some chop in between these two levels going into the future. Of course, that's what may happen. You never know. We may also possibly break this level to the upside and then make all-time highs. But if history will repeat itself, this consolidation phase will continue a bit longer into the future. At least that's what I believe what may happen. And oil, it's kind of the same story, but maybe not exactly. So let me open up USO, the United States Oil Fund. All right. So this one is interesting. So oil has been, at least it feels like it, in a sideways move for forever, for years. Yeah, this started even further back here. So oil has been consolidating after the highs here of around 92 in 2022. It retraced down, then it's been going sideways very neatly between resistance, support, and now we're back up here at resistance. We did break it. We broke it a bit, not conclusively. So this candle here wicked above it, even closed above it, then the next day went below again. So we will see. It's going to be exciting to see whether this resistance level will hold. And price is going to bounce back perhaps towards this level down here around the 68s, or perhaps we're going to see a sustained move above this level. If we do see the sustained move, I believe that we're going to see a much higher levels. The next stop will be around this resistance level here around the 92 area. And if you move even further up towards the hundreds and even higher. But we need to clear this area. So right now, the verdict is not out yet whether we can clear this level. All right, and one last thing. Let's look at Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? I haven't even looked. Normally I prepare for Bitcoin, but let's have a quick look what Bitcoin has been up to. Oh boy, it's up there again. As some people said, hey, we're gonna see a gap fill. These are the Bitcoin futures. We did have or at least the retracement back to this resistance level. So we went above the 74,000 area, went up, up, up. And oftentimes after such a zone break, we see a retracement back to the broken resistance level, the zone break retrace setup. So people thought, okay, we're going to come down here. Perhaps we're going to go all the way down to the $73,000 area. Well, we did not do this. Bitcoin went down a bit into the 90,000s, even high 80s. But now we're back up again. We're back at 104,000. We're near the all-time highs, and the resistance is only 4,000 points away. And you may say only 4,000 points. Well, in terms of Bitcoin, this is nothing. This stock or this symbol is so volatile that a move of 4,000 is doable within a day. Let me just quickly put on the ATR to see what's the average price move of Bitcoin. Just for the fun of it, so put the ATR up because that's really the average price move. Me, look at this numbers here: $3,000, 3,700, 4,000, whatever. So this is the average price move. It is not uncommon for a candle to move $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000 in Bitcoin. So it's all relative. The symbol is so super volatile. So what do I expect? Well, also here, we need to see. So right now we are at resistance here. Yeah, we may see a bounce and we may even see it is not out of the cards. I've seen this before that, even after quite some time, after like 50 bars, after a zone break, we may still see the retracement back to the 73,000 level. If this happens, I will be the first one to jump on Bitcoin. I think it's going to be a great entry opportunity. Right now, it's overextended. You can see how far price is away from these moving averages. I would stay away, especially also because we are near this resistance level. Should we break above? This could be a nice zone break setup, but we have to wait to see if this materializes. All right, so that was our market round trip. And let me just see, are there any questions? Nicholas Ahoma, did you see any questions so far?
No, Daniel, we're clear to go.
Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna have a quick drink of water. As mentioned, I just came from a soccer game here in Germany. Mm, Perfect. All right. Okay, I'm still gonna switch off my video so you guys can focus exclusively on the charts. All right, so what are these setups that we are going to review today? Well, most of them will be high reward and low risk, meaning that our profit potential will outweigh the risk that we're putting on a trade. Oftentimes, this requires either to have a very ambitious profit target, but most often to have a rather tight stop loss. And of course, having a tight stop loss, it comes with an extra risk because we are basically not giving this trade much room to work itself out. We are requiring the trade to work out right away without, drawing down any further. And because these are aggressive trades, it may take a few times to get it right. Just keep this in mind. But of course, if we hit our profit target, we are in for a nice payday. All right, so as always, we're going to focus on one setup at a time. So we have a few setups that we want to go through. We're going to create a hot list, based on what we see. And then towards the end, we're going to do a detailed analysis of the items in our hot list to see which are the most promising one for the week ahead. All right, so let's get into it. And before we gonna get through our setups here, let me, and by the way, Mala, this session, of course, is recorded. It's going to be on YouTube afterwards, so don't worry about this. Every single session of these scanning sessions are recorded, and just check out our YouTube page afterwards. I believe in a couple of hours, it's going to be online there already. So these are the setups we're going to go through. But before we do, let me quickly review some of the highlights from last week because I was so happy that, especially last week, pretty much every single setup that we had pointed out worked out beautifully. So let me go back to our dashboard. Let's go through some highlights. And in fact, we always have a bit of a record of what we discussed last week. So we have all these watch lists, and our watch list from last week was the one here from January, 11th, this one here. Let me click on it. So what are some of the highlights which were in our watch list? I'm going to start with the QQQs. We pointed it out. We said, hey, QQQs, were in a beautiful setup, the zone break retrace setup. We were right here, and we may see a bounce higher. This worked out beautifully. Excellent. So that was nice. Also, you may remember Motorola Solutions. And this symbol was actually featured in our newsletter that we sent out on Monday as well. In fact, this was my favorite setup last week. Motorola Solutions is in this beautiful uptrend. You can see it here. Very nice. Every once in a while, we do have a retracement towards the lower end of the trend channel. And in this case, we did have such a retracement. It's quite a big one. Look at trend radar down here. 4 levels being red. This was a level 4 pullback, but just the level 4. So the longer term trend, let me just switch off the ATR here. If I can find it, just a second. There we go. So it was a level 4 pullback. Now the first 4 levels of trend radar at this point here, they were red. And now we are getting out of it. Look, getting more greens into it. And you can see it here. Price has bounced nicely off these lower levels here towards the middle, in between support and resistance, exactly what we anticipated last week. So this worked out nicely as well. Now, what else do we have? Affirm Holdings, another great example. So here with Affirm, another bounce, a zone break retrace setup. We had the zone break, price went up, retraced back to the broken resistance level, now acting as support. And look what happened. We were here on Sunday, last Saturday. And I said, hey, this could be an interesting setup if we get even further down. Well, we did get further down at the open on Monday, and then a beautiful bounce to the upside. So also this one worked out quite nicely so far. Okay. And of course, some other highlights. We had Reliance Steel. Where is it? Oh, not in here. This was not our watch list, but we did review it. Let me just quickly go here. Okay, Reliance Steel. Look at this beautiful bounce setup here. This is a long-term bullish stock, which has experienced a bit of a sideways move after a strong move up. See this here? This was a really strong move up, and then it went into a consolidation phase. And this is exactly what I also mentioned because for gold. Gold had such a strong move up. And it is not uncommon to see this consolidation phase afterwards. And this is what happened here with Reliance Steel. And one key characteristics of a consolidation phase is typically some sort of a sideways move within a parallel and horizontal trend channel. Look at this one here. The price being just, going back and forth in between these levels, went down here, up to this one here, down here again. And here we said, hey, this could be a beautiful bounce setup of the lower end of this horizontal channel. And exactly this one happened here as well. So quite a nice setup. All right, so yeah, check out the highlights from last week. They worked out quite nicely. But of course, this is in the past. So now let's look at something that's new, some new setups for the week ahead. All right, so which are these setups? Oh, sorry, this is my Spotify. Where is my slides? There we go. So the first one we are going to look at is the healthy pullback setup. And that's a setup where we need to be in a sustained uptrend. For example, for this symbol here, price has been going up quite nicely. We're making higher highs and higher lows across the board. Yeah, you can see it here. And this is going on for quite some time, so it's quite sustained. But every trend, or no, there's no trend which goes up in a straight line. It's not happening. So in every trend, you will see a break, a pause in the trend every once in a while. And you can see it here too. After some highs, we retraced a bit further down. High up, a bit of a retracement. High up, and a retracement. And these retracements, these pullbacks, these are great entry opportunities. And in our language here, trading indicators, we call them healthy pullbacks. And these are shown very beautifully by our trend radar indicator. You can see it here, these red patches which are coming in within this predominantly green area. These are the healthy pullbacks. Great opportunities to re-enter at a much better price at lower risk into this trend trade. So how can we spot these? Let's try to find these using our dashboard. So let me go back to the dashboard. Here we go. I'm going to clear everything out. All right. So we're back to, oops. Oh, my screen just fell off. Just a second. I hope you guys are still there. Just put this here. Nicholas, can you still hear me? It's just my screen fell off of my laptop here. I believe you can. I think so. Okay, so let me go ahead and clear everything out. So here we are scanning through roughly 5,000 stocks, give or take. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, when are we going to add these 3,000 extra stocks, which I have promised? Well, it's coming. We're getting very close to it. So as I mentioned, we have to put into place the infrastructure needed for this in our backend solution, our cloud server. We're almost there. We're testing it right now. And once that's done, we are in a great position to add these extra symbols to the dashboard. So soon we're going to be scanning through almost 8,000 symbols here. All right, so that's coming. Okay, but now let's look for a pullback. So pullbacks are driven by our trend radar indicator down here, this one here. And we also have in our scanner a pullback column. You can see this one here. And pullbacks can happen within an uptrend, but also within a downtrend. But let's focus on the uptrend for now. So if we go to the filter icon right next to this pullback column here, you see different options. And for the bullish one, the bull, you can see bull here, we have level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I select level 4, you will see all the stocks which are currently in a level 4 bullish pullback. Example, Apple. So Apple is, you can see it here, it has been very bullish. I actually thought that Apple is going to stop dropping only until this broken resistance level here. It didn't happen. It actually didn't hold up. It went further down. But now we are on Apple in a level 4 pullback. A great opportunity to potentially think about entering into Apple, because Apple also has been trending up for 455 trading days. That's like 2 years, because these are trading days, not weekdays. But now we have this level 4 pullback. And if you believe that, hey, Apple, this uptrend, this strong uptrend in Apple is likely to continue, you may consider entering into this uptrend. I still think that's a great idea. You would have to put your stop loss all the way below the support zone here, which is quite far away. But if you believe this overarching trend may continue going into the future, this could be a great entry opportunity. And I'm going to add Apple, actually, in fact, to our watch list for next week. So let me quickly create such a watch list. So I'm going to click on this drop down here, end of day scanner. At the bottom of it, you can see create watch list, and we're going to call it setups. Setups, column 2025 01 18. All right, perfect. So this is for our watch list. We're going to add Apple to this watch list. Perfect. So this is done. All right. So it looks promising, but as mentioned, the stop loss would need to be all the way down here at perhaps 216, 215, because I would like to place it below this support zone at the bottom. Okay, so this is how we can find these level 4 pullbacks. But let's see if we can, find even more interesting symbol than Apple for this level 4 pullback. And what I consider as interesting are symbols which have been trending up for a very sustained period, for years trending up, and they're just experiencing a pause in trend. How can we find these? Well, we're going to use our MA rush column here. You see this MA rush, and I'm going to select bullish down here. And then I am sorting from highest to lowest. Perfect. So that's done. And the first thing we're going to see is, okay, the number one symbol, we're not going to consider this for swing trading, but I'm just going to point it out, is actually orange juice futures, OJ at OJ. And, we have futures in our dashboard. It's a symbol which is, quite bullish, in fact, bullish for 1,169 trading days. And I believe he pointed this out perhaps last week. It just went below this trend channel, but not too far, and is now approaching the lower end or the support zone here. So we went up here. Now we're at support. And if you were swing trading orange juice futures, this could be an interesting opportunity to enter long here. I believe there are no futures traders which swing trade. So futures traders are typically day traders. So we're not going to consider this for a swing trade, but technically speaking, this is an interesting setup for sure. All right, next one, build a bear workshop, BBW. All right, so here we said, so here we actually, similar to Apple, I believe we pointed out, if we get down to this level here, to this former resistance level, which is not acting as support, we may want to enter. Well, price actually surpassed it, so it didn't hold up exactly as I thought it would be. So we went a bit lower, but now we're seeing a bit of a reversal. And this may be a sign that, hey, this pullback now is coming to an end, and we could see a move further up. And I also believe that last week we said, this could be of interest, but we also see this gap up here. See this big gap from here to here, probably after earnings. Gaps tend to be filled over time. All right, so it is not very surprising that we actually went further down below this former resistance level here to fill the gap. We did fill it, so went all the way down here. This gap was filled. And now this upwards move may continue. So I'm going to actually move this a bit further down. And I like this too. So this is still very, very valid for a continuation of this very strong bullish move. So I'm going to add this as well to our watch list. So right click, add it to our watch list. Done. The third one in our level here is a currency pair, Singaporean dollars and yen. I have to admit, I haven't traded this ever. I used to do quite a bit of FX, but the symbol never went to my horizon. And what I see here, and we do have a pullback, but technically speaking, it's not so clean. So we're coming off this big move up. I believe you're going to be in a sideways consolidation, as so many times, for quite a long of a period, and price going to oscillate between support and resistance for quite some time. Now we're just in the middle between support and resistance. Perhaps not the most interesting setup. All right. And another one perhaps that we can consider, CAAP. Yeah, this one is interesting. So here we are in a sustained uptrend. I can see it here quite nicely. We didn't see a big pullback yet, which would, indicate that we may get into a consolidation, but we had a bit of a pullback. So we pulled back all the way towards this support zone down here. It's a level 4 pullback as per our trend radar indicator. But here I would wait. I would look for signs that we actually are printing some bullish candles, that we see some signs that, hey, this pullback is coming to an end, because historically speaking, these can be quite long and long lasting. So you want to see some evidence, some green areas coming in here in trend radar that this pullback has come to an end and this overarching trend will continue. All right. So I believe these are some interesting symbols, and you can see how easy it is to find these pullback scenarios with our dashboard. Yeah, simply scan for a level 4 pullback or perhaps a level 3 pullback, which is a bit shallower, using our scanner. Make sure the stock is bullish overall, and then just simply sort from highest to lowest. All right. So, Niklas, are there any questions so far on the pullback setup?
Well, we have a question, Daniel, from Robert, and he says he understands the entry criteria for each strategy, but he's not really sure if he understands how you plan out your exits. So is it based on technical analysis or just arbitrary profit and loss ratios? What's your primary approach for finding where to put your stops and target?
Yeah, it's always based on technicals, Robert. So if I see technicals on the chart, I will always use them. So just look at this example here. I think it's a good example. So CAAP. So let me just make this a bit bigger. We are in the middle between resistance and support. And if you were to decide, hey, we want to enter into this long trade right now, so where would I put my stop? Well, I would not arbitrarily place it maybe at 1% or 2% below market price, because that doesn't mean anything. There's probably not going to be a technical level coinciding with this number. Instead, I am looking at my support and resistance levels on the chart. So here, what do I see? Well, I see support down here. So a logical point to put my stop would be just below the support level. Because if this one fails, if price goes below this, we may see levels all the way down here to this next support level. And of course, I don't want to stay in that trade for this long. So I put my stop just below the support level, perhaps in this case around 17, 30, or 40, something like this. Okay. Now for the target, same thing. So here, once again, what is the state here? We are in between support and resistance. So my target would be quite conservative. Would just be just below this resistance level. Why there? Because price may drop off this level or bounce off this level towards the downside. And I don't want to give away my profit. So I would, at least my initial target would be just below here. Take some risk off the table, perhaps tighten my stops at this point. And if we see a sustained move, I can ride the trend, but definitely I would take some risk off the table just below this resistance level. So I would always look at technicals on your chart instead of just using arbitrary percentages.
Thanks, Daniel. One more question from Mala. They want to know, how do you start looking for, and they wrote close T0 ideal entry. I think they mean when you find the setup, how do you find out where to place your entry order, like the actual limit price?
Yeah, the limit price or even market price is, where I think I would possibly get the best price to enter. So, for example, for a bounce setup, let me go back to my classic. Actually, let me maybe find a good one where we are near a support. No, this one is not good. Mala, let me defer this for a second. I want to find a good setup where I really want to wait for price to get to the right position. Because oftentimes, even right now, in this case, for this one here for BBW, there's nothing wrong perhaps in entering near the market price. Yeah. But just keep in mind that this, your profit target would be fairly nearby. Yeah, if you think you're going to bounce off here. So maybe you don't want to enter at all, but here I don't see a reason to wait much longer. I don't think price is going to go all the way down here. If I felt price might go down here, of course, I'll put my limit order down here. Why would I put it up here? But if I think, hey, price may as well just continue right now because we just had this gap fill. Even though we broke below this resistance zone, but we're not too far off. And price may still bounce off right now above this zone towards new highs. So in this case, I would even consider entering at market levels if the price is still appealing when the market opens on Tuesday. Anything else,
And
Nicholas?
yeah, Daniel, I guess I should pass this one to you. David wants to know, it looks like in Trend Radar, technically you can get a level 5 pullback, right? So why don't we have that in a column?
Because then, at least the way I look at it, it's not a pullback anymore. So Trend Radar just goes full red across the board, which seems to be at least a temporary reversal of the trend. It's not just a pullback; it's an actual reversal. This is why we don't have it. So as long as the long-term trend here in Trend Radar, it's the last row down here, is green and the other stuff is red, that's a pullback. But the long-term trend is still intact. That's the reason why once it goes level 5, it's not really technically a pullback anymore.
Perfect. And the last question is, you were just talking about how you do your targets and stops. Could you quickly go over how you would find targets and stops in a long break retrace setup?
But yeah, we're gonna get this once we get to the setup. So we might
Perfect.
meet at that point. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So these were the pullback setups. All right, but we have more. Now let me go back here. So this is the wrong one. Where is my slides? There we go. So this was the pullback. But we have three more setups: the bounce, the zone break, and the zone break retrace setup. So what are these all about? Let's look at bounce first. So a bounce setup occurs when price approaches either a support zone down here or a resistance zone up here, and price is prevented from penetrating this zone. So for example, here price went into the support area, the support zone, couldn't penetrate it, couldn't go below it, and instead it bounced off this level towards the middle, in between resistance and support. And of course, the same thing can happen when price goes all the way towards this resistance level up here. It may bounce off this level to the middle, to the downside, towards the middle between resistance and support. All right, so how can we find these setups? Well, for this, once again, going back to the dashboard, I'm going to clear out our scanner, clicking this yellow, I might be colorblind, this yellow button here to clear out our entire scanner. Now we're back to our 4,898 symbols. And to find these support bounce setup or these bounce setups, let's see which indicator actually shows us. Just go perhaps this one here. Which indicator shows us where is support and where is resistance? Well, what's the indicator on the chart right now? It's our liquidity IQ indicator, which shows these levels here, the support level and the resistance level. So by knowing this, we also know that, hey, in our scanner, it's probably this liquidity IQ setup column, which will find us these bounce setup that we are looking for when price is near a support level, for example. So we're going to click on the filter here, and we will select long bounce. And long bounce means, hey, we are near a support level, and price may not be able to penetrate it, just like here, and instead bounce towards the upside, in between support and resistance. For example, we can see it here. Okay, now that's an example, but let me find a really bad example of a bounce. I'm going to go here. I'm just going to randomly pick this one here. So this stock. All right. So here we are. Yes, we are near support. We can see it here. And we may see a bounce a little bit towards the upside. But what we don't necessarily see right off the chart, I can see it here in the scanner, is that this stock is long-term. I mean, this is a stock I probably would never trade, but it's long-term bearish. It's been going down for a long time. So this is not ideal for us because this stock is falling. It's been falling forever, meaning that this support level here is probably not going to last forever, and we're going to lose it sooner or later. So this would not be the ideal setup. I instead would like to see symbols which have been trending up for a long time. And we see this bounce of a support level. So how can we find these? Well, our MA Rush column here helps us with this. So we can choose the filter right next to us to pick bullish, meaning we will only see symbols which have a long bounce setup and which are currently bullish. So in this case, 186 symbols satisfy these criteria. Very nice. And what you can also do then is to sort from highest to lowest. And what we can find here, for example, is Lily. All right. So Lilly, yeah, my good old Lilly, a pharmaceutical company, which has been in an uptrend forever for 1,279 trading days. You can see it here. This symbol has been going up for a long time, almost parabolically. So going up, up, up. We made all-time highs back here in the late August of 2024. But since then, we have consolidated. And it is not unlikely that we're going to see some sideways action in between support and resistance. But of course, these can also be interesting because right now, for example, we are trading right at this support cluster here. Can make this a little bit bigger. You can see it here. So we are right at this support cluster. This was tested here, here, and now again. So it seems to be a very significant area. And if you believe, hey, this support cluster, it's going to hold, it's going to prevent price from dropping further down, this could be an interesting long entry opportunity into this trade into Lily, anticipating a move towards the middle, perhaps towards 700, maybe 810 even. I would be conservative with my target because I do believe it's going to be sideways for a while, but a bit of a bounce, definitely something you could profit off from. So I'm going to add Lily for sure to our watch list for this week. All right, so that's interesting. We already looked at orange juice and FX. Honestly, I don't want to do too much. But also this one here, GPY yen. I know from experience this has been a very bullish stock. Wow, this dropped really sharply here. But before this, it has been very bullish. Oh boy, what happened here? I haven't looked at this in a while, but I would not be surprised if this was a fib retracement, this big sharp move down. Let me just quickly measure this out just for the fun of it. Say from here to here. What is it? Yeah. It's at a 50% level. Yeah. Maybe not deep enough for a 61.8%, which would be a classic fib level, but it's somewhat close at least. All right, so we had this big sharp retracement. Probably we're gonna see some sideways action here. And if you are betting, hey, if we see sideways action, we're going to go up and down. This could be an interesting opportunity for a bounce to the upside. I'm not going to keep it here. I don't trade Forex, especially not from a swing trading perspective. Tech is the next one. Yeah, tech also came off all-time highs here back in May 2024, and it's been consolidating to the sideways for quite some time. You can see it here. Up and down. What I don't like really about this setup, even though it's near a support level, is that it was broken prior to this. So price even went below this. And whenever this happens, I think it kind of takes away a bit of the power of this support level. So it's not as strong. It didn't help preventing price empowering through. It failed before. So why would it hold now again? So I'm going to stay away from this one for now. And I don't want to spoil much, but this is what you will see for most symbols going through this list here, at least for today, which broke below support, now trading slightly above it. They are flagged as bounce setups, but since support was broken before, not really my cup of tea for today. Same for this one here, Liberty, and also for Arch Capital. This exact same setup. Price broke below it before, and now we're trading above it. So not so interesting for today, at least, the bounce setup. But the good news is we do have two more setups that we can go through. And Niklas, are there any questions about the bounce setup so far, or just some generic questions that we see? No, Niklas is not there. Niklas, are you there? Niklas told me that he may have to go see his
sorry,
dormer.
Daniel.
Oh,
I was just
there we
taking a
go.
call. What was the question?
Oh, if you have any questions, actually,
Oh
so
yeah,
far
so we
about
actually have
the,
symbol requests if you want to leave that till later.
yeah, we're going to do this towards the end. The symbol
Perfect.
requests. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So please keep a note of these symbols and let's move on. Let's move on to our next symbol, our next setup, I should say. So we had bounce, but the next one is zone break. So I always say at this point in the presentation, well, in life, nothing lasts forever. Unfortunately, same is true, or same holds true for trading. No support level will last forever. No resistance level will last forever. At some point, these are going to be broken. And we can see it here. Uh, Support is broken to the downside, but whenever this happens, this can also be a great opportunity for entering into the direction of the break because we would anticipate a sustained move in the direction of that break. All right. So how can we find these setups? Once again, we are going to clear out our filters, going back to status quo. Perfect. And we're going to use our liquidity IQ setup column here and look for long bounce. So breaks above resistance. If you're a short trader or if you're looking for short opportunities, you could also look for short break. It's not long bounce, sorry, long break, I wanted to say. So break above resistance. Or if you're a short trader, short break. Now, this would be the one for the short side. But I'm going to select long break. All right. And we can see 169 symbols are currently in a long break state. But somehow more appealing than others. So one that is not so appealing right now, for example, is this one here. I'm going to explain to you in a second why. ESQ, Esquire Financial Holdings. Why? Well, here, and it's easily to be seen, this break happened too long ago on October 14, and since then we just flew off. So this moment, this opportunity has passed. That's finished now. We're too far away. Yeah? We're overextended now. I want to find opportunities where the break just recently happened. So how can I find these? Well, once again, I can sort my liquidity IQ column from lowest to highest. You can see this little number here. This is the duration for how long or since this setup has been present. So for example, here, if you see a duration of, just go extreme of 140, yeah, we can see, hey, this symbol broke above resistance 140 candles ago, meaning 140 trading days. So a really long time ago. So this probably has passed. Even though this could have been interesting a while back with this pullback, but right now it has passed. So you might, I mean, if you're betting on this uptrend to continue, even right now, if we're still far off this all-time highs here, it could still be an interesting long opportunity because it's quite relatively cheap and not too overextended. Let's move on from this one. Let's find the ones where the zone break just recently happened. So I'm sorting from lowest to highest. The first one that comes up is this one here, DTM. You can see it here. Here, the zone break just recently happened. Let me actually look at the symbol here. This looks quite interesting. Not sure if we ever had it before in our symbol, but this actually went up parabolically. We did have a retrace here, a level 3, even level 4 retrace, and we recovered from it, and now we made all-time highs with a zone break. You know what? I really like this one. Let's see where the market opens on Tuesday after Martin Luther King Day to see if we are too far away, but if price is still somewhat in this area, I would consider this for a long trade. So I'm going to add this one to our list. So add to 2025, our list here, January 18. Okay, cool. This is a good one. Next one here, Targa Resources. All right. Same thing. The zone break just happened on the last candle. And this looks very similar than the previous symbol. Yeah. So here we did already have our retracement of these all-time highs. It went down. We recovered. It was a level 4 pullback. You can see these 4 levels in trend radar. And then we recovered beautifully. Also, this coincided with the support cluster here. We recovered and now we broke above resistance. So depending, once again, where we're going to open next week, on Tuesday, this could be an interesting long opportunity as well. Betting on the fact that, hey, this move to the upside is going to continue now and even might accelerate because we have the zone break symbol right now. So I'm going to add this one here as well. Very similar to the previous one, by the way. All right. And perhaps one more. The idea is not just to go through all of these. The idea is that to empower you, how you can find these setups on your own, and to understand what is my decision-making process. All right, energy transfer. Yeah, similar here. I guess we all have similar patterns, right? Stocks retraced in December and early January. Now we're recovering from it, and this one is making all-time highs. So yeah, similar one. Let me just quickly see what's the history here. Yeah, very bullish. We had this big move, retracement of all-time high. So pretty much the same opportunity as before. I'm not going to add it because we had very similar patterns before, and I don't want to over leverage myself because they all seem to be somehow doing the same move, and which would stipulate, hey, these are somewhat correlated. So I'm gonna not, go crazy on all of them. And perhaps one more, LRN right here. Yeah, also recently a nice break above this resistance level. We're not far away though, so we're still good, very close by, even in between here. So here I would wait if perhaps maybe this level is still gonna hold and we bounce off to the short side. If we are clearing it completely, this could be an interesting long entry opportunity as well. All right. So let me see. Any questions, Nicholas, for the zone break setup?
Oh, well, we did have that question from before, and I think you've kind of already done a bit of it, which is the quick summary of how you would find a stop and a target for zone break retraces.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
We're
So this was
getting
the
to
zone
them
break.
next, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
exactly. Yeah, so we're gonna get this to at the next symbol. And nice segue. Thanks for that. So now let's look at our zone break retrace setup. And a bit of a spoiler, we're not gonna find many symbols today. So I did a bit of research before. It is a rare setup to begin with. But sometimes, some days, you will only see one or two or very few of them. And this is what's going to happen today. So a bit of a spoiler alert. But what is this setup all about? Now, a zone break retrace happens if we break, for example, here above resistance, price initially goes up, but then retraces down to this broken resistance level, which is now acting as support. And oftentimes, after this initial, I call this a fake out of the market, the breakout move really gains momentum and really starts from this point on, because this initial fake out is done. Some traders maybe faked out or given up, and maybe if you entered up here, you may have even lost money. But then it really continues. And the markets, they are unpredictable and kind of tricky this way sometimes. So how can we find the setup? Well, back to our scanner. Here we go. I'm going to clear out all our filters. And I'm going to go back to my Liquidity IQ setup column. And in this case, I will select long break retrace. This one here. And yeah, only two symbols made it. Wow, that is very rare. Typically, we have at least like 5 or 6 or maybe 10. But sometimes market conditions are just like that. You only have two setups right now of our 5,000, almost 5,000 symbols that we're tracking. So let's check out these two setups. This one here, RSSS. Okay, so what is going on here? First of all, it's a very cheap stock, so typically not something I would often trade, but this looks kind of interesting. And you never know, these cheaper stocks, they can fly off to a much higher level. So there could be opportunity there. So we did have our zone break here. We initially went up, then price retraced back to this broken resistance level, which will now act as support. And if you see this as a fake out, as the initial fake out of the market, this can be an interesting long entry opportunity. Where's my arrow? No arrows here. One second. I wanted to draw something. Yeah, this could be a nice arrow. Now, hey, now things will really take off to the long side. So this looks kind of clean. I mean, I don't really know this symbol, and it's a bit too cheap for my taste. But hey, if this move continues, now would be a nice time to enter into it because it's much cheaper. And you can put your stop loss just below this resistance level. We're going to talk about the stop loss in a second, a bit more. So we're going to add this one to our watch list. Let's check out the last one here. Red Cat Holdings. All right. Another kind of exotic stock. And here's something, okay, this is an interesting one. First of all, this move was super parabolic compared to how much price moved, what the volatility was in earlier days. Now we're kind of like crazy volatility. Because of that, because volatility spiked up so much, even though we are still so far away from this resistance level, the scanner already picks it up as a zone break retrace setup. Because what determines whether we are close enough to our broken resistance level? Well, it's based on the ATR. And if the ATR is exceptionally high, like in this case here, even when it appears with the naked eye here, we are far away. Because of the big ATR, we are already close enough to qualify for a zone break retrace setup. We already retraced towards it. But I agree with you if you say, hey, this is still too far. We might get close, and I agree. I probably would never trade the stock. It's just not my price category. But if we see a move towards this level here around 450, 460, perhaps an interesting long opportunity to re-enter into this long trade. All right, so let's go back to the previous symbol here. Where would I put my stop loss and target? All right, so this kind of depends of how, first of all, how lazy is bad, how fast you want the answer, or how much effort you want to put into the answer. Now, if you want a very quick answer, which doesn't require any thinking, any brain power of you, you can just ask the indicator, our liquidity IQ indicator, to do this work for you. You could go to the settings up here, go all the way down, yeah, can see it here, and enable show target long and show stop long. And once you do this, the indicator will print directly on your price chart. You can see these labels here. Where should be your stop and where should be your target? So the indicator did all this work for you. Now, I typically don't follow these completely blindly. Oftentimes they coincide with what I would do too. So here, I like it a lot. It gives that trade, because it's been quite volatile, a bit of extra room after this resistance level here, all the way down here to around 328 or something like this, or 330, which coincides also with this green line here. There's some confluence there. Yeah. So we're going to give this trade a bit more room. So I like this one. I don't really like this target up here. I'm more conservative with my target. Conservative meaning I like my target a bit closer. And I already know, hey, this swing high here, we bounced off here, we bounced off here. This is going to be in the future a resistance level. And price may have trouble breaking above it. So I would put my target probably here, just below this, maybe at 410. Yeah, it's a conservative target. You're still going to get a decent reward to risk ratio, but I would put my target here. The indicator thinks it should be all the way up here, but it does it mechanically, based on a certain, you want to have a certain reward to risk ratio. That's not always the best way to do it. So I personally would probably put it just below these swing highs here. All right, so I hope this answers the question about where to place my target and my stop for the zone break retrace setup. Any other questions, Nicholas?
We have one question from David. He says, is it possible for MA Rush to be neither bullish or bearish?
No, well, so it should not be, and we're going to fix this, but I know why you're saying this. It can appear as such, and this is when we have a symbol where MA Rush never changed its mind. It's always been in the same state. Let me just find an example of this for you. So if we go to MA Rush here, yeah, no, not this one. One second, I need to find a good one. Let me go to I think I saw something with the bounce here. And bullish, no, not bullish. One second, guys. Let me just scroll. How many do we have? 744. Maybe also want to see a pullback. Yes, this one here. Okay, so I just wanted to narrow down this a little bit. Look at CNTA. You can see this one here. So I think it looks nice. Long bounce setup. Level 4 pullback. But here, strangely, for MA Rush, there's no indication. It's not an up arrow. It's not a down arrow. It's just a dash. So this can happen. Let me explain to you how this can happen. If you open up the symbol, this can happen, even though this looks really bullish. And we're going to fix this in the future. That there should be a reading. But if you go all the way to the start, since we tracked this, oh boy, where are we coming from? So we tracked this since, this stock just started here at 2021. No label of MA rushes on the chart. It didn't make up its mind yet. Hey, are we bearish? Are we bullish? Because it's super conservative in doing so. And since there's no label on the chart, technically speaking, we are neither bullish or bearish. But I want to change that logic. This is super rare, by the way. This happens like every once in the blue moon. So typically, you will always see either bullish or bearish in MA rush. But for a few symbols, it's not the case, and we're gonna fix this so that it will always be some sort of reading.
Cool. And
Any
the
other
other
questions? Yeah.
question, yep. Okay, and then the other questions we have, Aubrey just mentioned that RCAT, the symbol you were looking at, is a subject of a short campaign by, I think, a firm, Kerrisdale, and the rest of the questions are just simple requests.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I guess we could. What I want to do now, I want to quickly go through my list of symbols that we found for this week, just for 5 minutes, and then to qualify them further, and then we're going to look at symbol requests. All right, so which symbols did we find for this week? So I'm going to go back to my scanner here, all the way to our list for today.
Daniel,
Yes,
I'm just giving you a heads up. I do have to step away now for that 10 minutes and I'll be
no
back.
problem. Okay, thanks, Nicholas. Perfect. All right, so how many symbols did we find? All right, so let's go through. How many do I have here? Oh, I have 6 symbols. And we're going to start with, let me sort this from here with Lily. So let's start with Lily. Lily is an interesting one. I am not the biggest fan of trading pharmaceuticals, especially not outright. Why? Because they are subject to huge price swings if something is happening. If a new medication is being approved or rejected, we may see huge price moves because of that. So outright trading is risky for symbols like this. In this case, unfortunately, it's also super expensive. So an outright options play would also be quite pricey. So if you don't want to spend thousands of dollars for an options contract, this may be out of the play. But if you are willing, perhaps with a very low position size to trade Lily, you may want to consider a long trade here. I like this long setup. I like the fact that we are right at this support level. We already bounced off it before here couple of weeks ago. Now we're back here again. We may see another bounce off this level. So I'm going to add this to the screenshot to our trade notes here. So I'm going to click on Lily here. I'm going to add a new node and put this screenshot right here. So we can see it next week to see how it panned out if we were on the right side. So add the screenshot here of today. So Lily, perfect. So that's that one. So I like it. Next one, Apple. Apple was our level 4 pullback. I like it. I think Apple is a bullish stock. There's no signs that the Apple is slowing down. I mean, it's been slowing down a little bit, but I think this overarching long trend that we've been in, if we've been in for 455 trading days, is not unlikely to not continue. It's not unlikely to continue. Sorry for that. So here, once again, it is an interesting one. I think I will shy away from it because this resistance level did not hold, but it may still act as support now that it's been broken here. I mean, Apple is a good trade. I do like to enter on a pullback, which is always a good thing to do. But just because we're just in between these two levels, I'm gonna shy away from, putting it into my hot list for next week. All right. So that was Apple. Let's move on. RSSS. Yes. And Aubrey, was it you talked about RSSS or was it a different symbols? Because I really like this one for a zone break retrace setup. Yeah. Entering, if we even get a bit cheaper, even better on Tuesday, entering long here, and then expect a bounce off these levels. So this is an interesting one. I'm definitely gonna add it to my wish list here for a zone break retrace. All right. So adding a screenshot. And for those of you who don't know yet, we also have a dictation tool here, which listens to you in English and German. The only thing is you have to decide first which language you're going to speak at. You can do this by using this language button up here. You can choose between English and Deutsch, as we say. And then you can dictate your trade notes in both languages, which is pretty cool. All right, Targa Resources. Yeah, that's the cool one. So I want to pick one zone break trade, not both of them. So this is one, and the other one we had is this one here. Let me see which one I like better. I think I like this one better. You know why? because this pullback is a bit shallower than the one on the other symbol. So here in Targa, look at this pullback. It's quite steep. Of course, it went all the way down to the support level here, which is great. A nice pullback. But because of this, there's more volatility, and I think it can go both ways. And especially since we know these initial zone breaks, they may be fairly short-lived initially. We may see some sort of retracement afterwards. So I kind of like the less volatile stock here. So I'm gonna make a pick. I'm gonna take this one here as our long break trade. Here, my stop loss just below this broken resistance level at 107.16, and the target, yeah, a bit higher, about 123 or even higher than this. So I'm going to add this one here as an example of, oh no, we already added this. What am I doing? I want to put a screenshot here. All right, so adding a screenshot. There we go. All right. And this just leaves one more symbol, which is our Build a Bear workshop. What a strange name that is, huh? So here we have a level 4 pullback. We initially went above this resistance level. We went up and retraced. We went further than this original resistance level. We hoped that, that would act as support, but I'm not too surprised because it was simply a gap fill of this gap here. So we filled this gap now. This is done. So gaps tend to be filled over time. So this gap now was filled. And I believe we may see now further bullish price action in the symbol, especially since it's very bullish. So bullish for 1,039 trading days. That's years. Currently level 4 pullback, not level 5. So, and the gap was filled. So definitely going to add this one as well to our watch list of today. Where did it go? Oh no, I'm in this watch list. What am I doing? I'm spaced out. I'm going to add the screenshot here of it. It's already in our watch list, of course. All right. Perfect. So this is a pretty decent setup of interesting symbols for the week ahead. I'm already excited to see what's gonna happen to them. All right. So now let's look at some symbol requests. So which ones do we have? Let me just go through this one here.
The first ones we had, Daniel, were Tesla and AVGO. I don't know if you already looked at them. I just got back.
No, not yet. So let me just quickly go. Tesla. What's going on with Tesla?
By the way, Daniel, do we have our ebook, The Power of Three, in German? Does that exist?
Soon.
Soon?
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I was in Dubai, as perhaps you guys know it. We sent it out at the IFX conference, and these trips are always so time consuming. So I didn't have time yet to put the German translation in. Unfortunately, I'm the only guy who can do it. Here in our business, of course, I'm the only German speaker, so it's up to me to do it. It's on the top of my to-do list to translate it early next week. By the way, it's already translated, but put the translation into the PDF and regenerate it, and of course, double check it. This is on my to-do list for next week. So hopefully, when we meet the next time, next Saturday, we're going to have the German version, for those of you who speak German and would like to read it in German, of our ebook available. All right, so Tesla. All right, so Tesla is bullish for 69 trading days, currently trading in between resistance and support. All right. I mean, Tesla is just such a news-driven stock. So it came up very strong in October, and of course jumped up parabolically after the elections. Of course, Trump and Musk being buddies now, and all the way up. A steep retracement, a level 3 retracement. I mean, steep in quotes. This is not really that steep. Level 3, even level 4s are not uncommon. But since Tesla was so expensive, it seemed very big, the retracement, and now we seem to have recovered from it. But we're still trading towards this resistance cluster or this resistance zone here. So yeah, you might consider it for a long because we're just coming off this pullback. We'll just be, aware that we may bounce off the 480 level here towards the downside, at least initially, before perhaps potentially making higher highs. So that's Tesla. What else do we have? AVGO. AVG. Oh, there we go. All right, bullish for 408 trading days, currently at a short bounce. Broadcom. Yeah. Okay. So we came off here. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I personally would not do anything right now. Neither long or short. Why not long? Because we are near this resistance level here. There's not much room to go further high. And we have not closed this gap yet here, which we had after the zone break. And the zone break retrace has not happened yet. So we may still see it. Then we say, hey, should I short this stock? Because there were so many signs that, hey, it may fall. Also, no, because it's been just bullish for too long, and I don't want to go against that overarching trend. So for me, I would just stay and let this pattern here resolve. If we see the pullback towards this level here and the gap fill, great. It's a great long. If you break above this resistance, yeah, we may consider a long as well. But for now, it's going to stay on the sidelines for this one.
Cool. And we have a request for Intel.
Intel, yeah. Yeah, Intel.
Apparently,
Is it recovering? I haven't looked at Intel in a while.
apparently there's a rumor. I don't know. I just saw this from Patrick. He says the news is Elon Musk is interested in buying Intel.
What? That would be, I think even he could not afford this company. I mean, I think it's too big, even though the stock price has plummeted. But who knows? This is not like Twitter territory. This is a way bigger company. But the stock price has been declining. People say they missed out on the whole AI bandwagon. We're in a bearish trend since May 25th, 2024. Now just trading at this broken support level, now acting as resistance. Yeah, it looks very bearish. I mean, if Musk is considered buying it, I think stock prices will probably go up because he's probably gonna cut a lot of red tape at Intel. It's a huge company with lots of factories, so maybe there's too much overhead. But certainly, a company like this will not go under. So from this point of view, if you were a long-term investor, if you're willing to withstand some downtrends, maybe now is the time, if price goes a little bit further down, to enter into a strategic long position in the fundamental. This is like back to fundamentals. In the fundamental expectation that Intel is too big to fail, and it will eventually recover because they have lots of government contracts and factories. For sure, they're going to be working on some cutting edge AI stuff. It's just not out there. So strategically, I think price will recover. It just we don't know why. So a short term or a swing trade, I would not recommend right now. But for perhaps a really longer term perspective, yeah, why not? All right. Anything else?
We have a request to see ES. So the
Yeah,
future.
ES looks a bit like the SPY here. We looked at the SPY before.
Sure.
Okay, let me just quickly see asset class. If you don't see the E, oh, it's at ES actually here. That's why it's okay at ES. Okay. All right. So here, the thing is that our futures, and that's an issue for our data provider. The dates are a bit behind. So here the latest day is January 15. It's because our futures data provider is a bit buggy, I should say. So here we don't even see the latest bounce off, or see a bit of a bounce, but I think it went even further up of what has happened. Let me just quickly see it. This is just January 16th, 15 action. 16 is not there yet in the 17 also. So yeah, I would like to prefer to look at the SPY instead. But it mimics the same thing, and it gives you a cleaner picture. Of course, we have more gaps because there's no overnight action, but still, this is probably a good surrogate for the ES. All right. What
Cool.
else?
And we have a request from David about the symbol GEO, and his question about it is how much above a resistance zone when there's a long break would you consider it too late for an entry?
Yeah, I don't. I want it to be as close as possible. So let's just see what. Let me just take off the targets here so it's a bit clearer. There we go. Okay. So here, let's see. Make this big. So here we can see we broke above this resistance level on the 14th. A nice break, in fact. We slightly broke above it before, even earlier. Then we traced a bit, then a more decisive break, and now we gapped up all the way here. To me, it's too far away. I like to get into it really close to the zone. And also, what I don't really like here is we had this gap here, no fill yet. So my feeling for this one here, it's going to come down to fill this gap. You see this one here? And then if it does, this could be a nice long entry opportunity. Let me see what's the long-term trend on this one. If I go out here, for 295 trading days, so not bad for roughly a year. It's been trending up. Where's our bull signal? Let me just see where it is. Here we go. Yeah, nice move uptrend, really parabolic move here. I would just be aware that, hey, this gap fill may be happening, and I would wait until it come down to come down.
We have a question from Aubrey. Do you have any thoughts about going long ISRG?
ISRG. All right. Intuitive Surgical, medical company. Yeah, too far away. Same. So from a pure technical point of view, so that's what we do. We do technical analysis. I don't know anything about this company. I don't know what is the potential of their surgical tools or whatever the invention they are working on to do any fundamental, to build a fundamental story around this. But from technical story, I would wait for the retrace. This is too far off. Yeah. So if we see a move down towards this level, maybe, yeah, I could consider entering long here. But it's perhaps a little bit too far off.
Cool. And let me check. That's it for all these symbol requests. Did you looked at RCAT on your own, right, Daniel?
R
Was that in the watch list? R cats?
Red Cat Holdings. Yeah, I think we did, huh? For a long break retrace, but we said it's too far off. It's just such a huge move that we have of these very low price points and jump all the way up here to like 15 with huge volatility. It's too far away, so I want this to come down further to here to consider it potentially for a long break retrace entry, but we're still too far away. So I think there's still more to come.
Cool. Okay, that's it for the symbol requests.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, are there any generic questions, or should we maybe just quickly review how you guys can get hold of our awesome ebook? So the ebook and the link is in the chat. It's right here, tradingindicators.com/power of 3 to read all about our 3 most prominent setups that we support in the Liquidity View dashboard: bounce, zone break, and zone break retrace. And as mentioned, soon also available in German. All right, so that's that. And if you have not yet tried out our dashboard and run some scans on your own, try it out at tradingindicators.com/view. As mentioned, you get a full week of a free trial. You just test it. No payments will be taken. And if you like it, we have nice options to stay on. But if not, hey, there's no contract. You can just, either cancel on your own or send me a quick message to cancel it, and I will take care of it. And of course, we hope that you will stay on because it's been really a trading gem, not just for us internally, but also for many of our clients to find interesting setups. And here we looked at some of the top ones, but if you scroll further down the list, there's so many still interesting setups that you can consider. And of course, this would explode this webinar into like a 2-hour or 3-hour event, which is a bit too long for a Saturday afternoon. So I like to keep it to an hour, maybe an hour and a half. All right. So are there any other questions?
No, Daniel, I think we've covered everything.
Perfect. All right, guys. So then, this is an old slide. I'm going to skip this one. The slide I wanted to show is our volume IQ, just real quick, just to let you know, where was it here? We still offer the 25% discount on volume IQ for NinjaTrader. Or if you say, hey, I want to take advantage of this discount, but I want to have volume IQ for TradingView or perhaps for Motivate, which is not completed yet, get it now. Just let me know, hey, I want to get it for Motivate. You can get it for any platform of your choice right now, and later on, I can simply switch you over for Motivate, and this version should be available. I know, Nicholas, what was our outlook there? But be as conservative as you can for Motivate, for Volume IQ.
Maybe the 1st of February, something like that. 2 weeks,
yeah,
I think would
3
be the
weeks.
conservative call.
Yeah. So Nicholas says 2 weeks. I'm gonna say 3-4 weeks because it's being very. I love that for what Nicholas is super optimistic, but just to be on the complete safe side, yeah, in February you can expect Volume IQ for Motivate as well, and of course it will be compatible with our strategy builder for Motivate. Something very exciting. Okay, guys, with this, if there are no more questions, let me just remind you that if we missed out on a question, no worries. You can always send us a quick note. I know I'm a bit behind answering my emails because of this travel I just took, but I'm planning to catch up today and tomorrow, and this is what I've planned to do. So don't worry if I haven't responded to you yet. You're going to get an answer very soon. And if you have any questions, of course, just reach out to us. via our homepage, tradingindicators.com. In the main menu, go to contact, put your question there into the form. It will go straight to my or Niklas or Homer's inbox, and we're going to make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys, with this, I wish you guys and gets is Apple in the magnet zone? Yes, we discussed it. It is technically somewhat in the magnet zone in between support and resistance. Just real quick, Apple. It's in a level 4 pullback too. I still very much like it because of this, but technically, yes, it is in a magnet zone. You can see it here as well. It's been for 2 days in a magnet zone, meaning somewhat in the middle between resistance and support. Now, I still think this overarching trend will continue. And this could be an interesting opportunity to enter long Apple here. All right, guys. So awesome. With that, I wish you guys a great Saturday afternoon, great Sunday, and hopefully you have a long weekend. And for those of you in the US, I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King Day is a holiday. So if it is, have a great long weekend. And then see you guys on Tuesday at our Lunch and Learn session. Until then, guys, trade safe. Talk to you soon. Bye bye. Thanks, Niklas, for helping out. Bye bye.